What up, C words? Sorry, Johnny Boy Quickdraw. I had to censor myself there because, as expected, last week's episode got limited ad revenue for not being appropriate. So I think YouTube doesn't actually want us to say naughty words like cunt. Oops. I accidentally said the word cunt back there when I'm not supposed to say the word cunt anymore because I think YouTube doesn't like us to say cunt because it's inappropriate. Mea culpa. This is Token Minority, reported on Safe Space, and I'm a minority. Beverly J. Clark. Today is Thursday, June 30th, 2022, and here with me tonight is my co-host, the ever-blossoming flower of sunshine, Alex Maselli.
I'm like, what is she gonna say? Like every time, I'm like, what's the intro gonna be? Because it's always gonna be something.
Trying to switch it up. I should have probably used the word blooming instead of blossoming because you're just one singular flower, but blossoming sounds better.
Okay.
And it wasn't that I forgot to like hit the intro button once I went go live. It was as soon as I hit the go live button, I heard my one goose go, so I had to go look out the window because that's what she does when she sees danger.
I saw you get up and I was like,
Yeah.
that is the weirdest timing.
I know, yeah. Look, I thought the same thing where I'm like, why right now? But then I didn't see anything. So I was like, all right, I think I can do this intro and everything. So we'll see. I might have to leave quickly.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, how are you doing?
I have a headache. I'm going through my my ear pressure period again. Like it happened like in January. I was like where like all this pressure was in my ears again, and it's back. And I'm like taking acetaminophen and trying to drink a lot of water, but like it's not an infection. It's just I have bad allergies. That's all it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough. I think I used to get like, well, it varies. Though, like the seasonal allergies where I would just get hay fever, and then sometimes it would give me like hives. So I just thought, what's going on with my body when I just have like a bunch of what looked like itchy bug bites on my wrists and knees and stuff. And eventually I started learning like, oh, it happens like when the weather's changing, but it has not happened in a few years. So that's been good. Yeah, but that sucks having to go through that. Headaches I would get, I think mostly because I'm always dehydrated. I never remember to drink enough water. And
that is always something like I think a lot of people like don't realize that there's two common causes for headaches, and one is like dehydration and the other one is that you didn't eat. So
that's never been a problem for me, not eating. So
I forget to eat. I do. And it's not because I don't love food. I absolutely do, but because I like get invested in what I'm doing, usually like a project of some kind, and or work.
Sometimes that actually does happen to me too. Or I'm like, it's not, I'll keep thinking about how I need to eat. I need to go eat, but then I'm like too busy and doing whatever stuff. So then it isn't until like, evening where I'm like, yeah, I know that I want to eat, but I just have not yet. So
yeah.
Okay, let's do housekeeping stuff before I forget. Please like, share, subscribe, and donate because I'm poor. No shows tomorrow, and there will be no narrative dissonance on Monday, but there will be a special Rebel Civics for Independence Day since Monday's the 4th of July. As long as I get that edited. Tuesday, there's going to be some sort of 451 degrees, correct?
Okay. Yeah. I'm still working on it. It's a big project, so we'll see.
I guess if that doesn't pan out, then you'll probably do a live one.
I'll just go live.
Okay. Wednesday, there's a pre-recorded video of Rebel Civics at the normal time at noon Eastern, and there will be no dangerous thoughts because Carter is away vacationing. And then we're back to Thursday night with us. So we're always here forever.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess before we get started into things, let's just say hi to people in chat. Kermit Frog. Mo said he was here, but then I knew he was going to leave because he's the worst. Hi, Johnny Boy Quickjaw. I got to fight for you, right? Let's see. Who else? Mr. Sparkle Gleam. Tom Hannock Outlaw. I always say that name really, really slowly because I want to say Tom Hannock. And but I don't think that's right, but I might just start saying it. Raumo Grey Wolf, Tree Surgeon. Hello. I like Raumo. It's really saying a lot of naughty words in that one comment there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we talking about today? We've got Lightyear, we have Beavis and Butt-Head, and we had Johnny Depp with the potential Pirates of the Caribbean. But first, before we get into like deeper topics, I just happened to see on Twitter that I barely go onto, so it's just when it pops up on the trending on the side, I saw that I think Jordan Peterson got suspended for saying something about formerly Ellen Page, who's now Elliot Page. I don't know if YouTube will ban us too if we dead name or something. So
Elliot. So like, I don't know what Jordan Peterson said, but I know I saw today, like quite a while ago, they announced that Paige was not returning to Umbrella Academy.
Oh, really? I have not
Vanya.
watched the show, but
I've only watched like the first episode of that show. But then like I saw a commercial for it today and Paige is on it, and they've changed the character's name, Vanya, which is a male Russian name, to Victor, and the character's trans now, which it's like, really, this is like,
well, why can't they just have a man play a woman now, and you can, but you're not allowed to do that, then that's taking away
I don't know.
I can't keep up.
Like when they said that Paige was going to leave, I was like, from the very small amount that I saw of that show, like I don't think Paige is very good anymore as an actor.
Really?
Like, no, the character was kind of like meh, pathetic, especially compared to everybody else on the show. I didn't really
of the new Victor character.
No, like
or even before that.
Even before that.
Okay, as the whole. Okay, that just Paige is not
interesting character on the show for me. I was more interested in literally everybody else.
Well, I've heard good things about the show, but I don't know why I've just never bothered to actually get into it. Maybe it's a thing though too, when everyone talks about it, then I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'll get to it eventually, and then I'm just gonna go back and watch Castle still. We're gonna do that.
I actually found Doom Patrol more interesting than Umbrella Academy.
Which one's that?
Doom Patrol has Brendan Fraser.
Oh, Fraser.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to say Frasier because I know that's not right. So I'm like struggling there. But yeah, he does the voice of a character. Matt Bomer does a voice of a character. And then Alan Tudyk is in it. Yeah. Alan Tudyk is like Mr. Nobody. He's really amazing as Mr. Nobody. So like they're very similar, Umbrella Academy and Doom Patrol, in the idea that it's this misfit group of people with powers that don't really fit into society and like really like live together and have a long history together and like have to like get their shit together to handle things. Like, which show am I talking about? They're essentially the same. I like Doom Patrol better. I think it's a better show.
Okay. Well, now I have to watch both and then compare.
Yeah,
that'll be my next step. I actually am going. I started with Stranger Things again because that should be out in the next couple of days or something, right? The last episode.
Like this, it's this weekend.
So, yeah, I'm not gonna watch it until I catch back up and rewatch everything else. Though, but we'll see about like maybe next week, or I don't know how long.
Yeah.
But we'll.
I don't know that I'm gonna watch all of it again
beforehand. Yeah, I needed to. Oh, I don't want to talk about because then we'll just get into it and start talking about. There's just stuff I'm like, oh yeah, this happened. Oh, these things. So it's good for me to refresh my memory.
I know they're gonna do like a recap before the next. So I'm like, I don't care enough.
My memory is so like, I don't know what it like, I forget stuff that I watch, like, I need to rewatch I guess it's like a memorization thing, so I need to repeat it because like, I know pi to 100 decimal places,
Oh,
so, like,
wow.
I can, like, commit things to memory, and then, like, I memorize, like, sheet music and stuff too that I play on the piano, but then it's something like I need to have it repeated or else I don't remember anything at all, so
My memory, especially for narrative and like weird trivia, is pretty good
I
actually.
know, yeah.
I One of my friends today actually sent me a message asking me, he's a longtime viewer. He asked me like, "I'm gonna watch The Big Short. How good is that movie?" And I was like, "I've actually not seen that one, but I know
Me
everything
neither.
about The Big Short and what was going on there, like what it's based off of." And he's like, "I'm just so used to you having like encyclopedic knowledge that you would have already seen the movie." It's like,
Yeah. I just expect you
fair.
to know everything, so I have asked you like, "Hey, would you happen to know?" And I'm like, if she doesn't know exactly, she'll probably know either like where to find it
you
specifically or just some sort of general knowledge on it. So
you're right. You have asked me questions like that before.
that's so the kind of people that I like to have. My dad is another one of those too, that he just knows like a lot about everything. Um, so I ask, yeah, he's easy to like go to. But then you get like long answers where I'm like, so. And the simple I'm like, "Wait a second, that was too much information," because it's always, like, technical stuff, so I'm like, "I don't
Oh yeah.
remember what was I asking?" But, anyway, yeah, especially with, like, writing or other or, like, anything in the realm of that too, even just, like, where I'm like, "Hey, or, like, knowledge about, like, how to write certain things or whatever," though, too, I'm like, Alex probably knows this."
I know, I did have a friend come to me, like, asking me questions about, like, how to write these, like she wanted my feedback on how to write some stuff, and it was kind of funny too because I told her, like, sometime like, she has a bunch of characters she'd wanna get in the head of, like, for in the book, and I said, "Well, write what's going on in their heads for the scene since their decision is so pivotal. Don't use it, because then it'll make sense from an outside perspective." Um,
Yeah, yeah,
it
well,
Those
that's
kind of exercises are really helpful for you, like blowing out your tertiary characters
yeah,
to
I love
actually make
that.
sense.
Well, that's what, like, I mean, I'm not even in, like, the actual right now, it's all just notes that they are like, here are all the things that are happening, so it's not, like, written in any sort of good way. It's just like, here's the dialogue, and then here's, like, what's happening, and then later on, I can try and rewrite it all, but, like, I just kinda wanna know, like, because sometimes too, then you play it out, I'm like, I don't know what they're gonna do, like, but I wanna make it realistic, so, like, understanding the characters and then what they say, and then sometimes it ends up changing, like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm gonna go this direction then in the story because they ended up answering something in a different way than I expected," but, like, it just felt better.
Yeah,
Um,
that's something like I think that's really wrong with a lot of like movies and TV shows right now is that a lot of the characters, especially the villains, my God, they make no sense. They make decisions that don't make any sense, and you can't just say, "Well, they're evil, they're crazy," as an as like especially for the villains, and like it's so hard for me to accept the poor motivation and the poor reasoning behind like the non-main characters in movies and TV shows lately because I'm like I don't understand why it's so hard to come up like there are clearly good villains out there and good tertiary characters who are like have depth, but they're not really trying. They're being very lazy about it. And I mean, Lightyear is actually a very good example of that. It's a very
yeah, we will get into
gory
that.
movie.
Well, so, along those lines though too, I don't mi I will accept something is evil if it's in like a magic or supernatural thing, like if there's this entity or something that's like or like that causes the person or whatever like to feel a certain way or like you're like, "Hey, like I'm angry or upset," and then so that's just kinda like leading them into doing these terrible things. So like I can accept that, but when it's just like, here's just a regular person and then or whatever, like you need to have like better motivations. But even So I'm gonna relate to D&D too, where I am kind of using that too, where it's just like, here's this evil or something like from this other dimension that like, but what it is, it feeds on despair. And so then like it brings more power and stuff too, but then it feeds on despair. Then that like, like a regular person, they might not end up doing something, but like it gets the right person. And she ended up being like the big bad that like started the whole campaign for it.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. But it also had like, hey, they had the motivation already too that kind of like fed into it that caught, but and then it kind of ended up having like, well, you're gonna make some bad and crazy decisions too. But
well, so that was the thing. The first campaign I played in Destiny 2 was Forsaken, right before they sunset it. And in it, this character whose sister, he believes his sister is dead. He loves his sister quite a bit. And he's being talked to by this otherworldly being that makes him believe that it's his sister and that this thing that it wants him to do will bring her back. And I'm like, I know from a narrative perspective that there's no fucking way that was his sister. Like, I was like, I'm like, they didn't telegraph that. Like, they didn't like reveal it to you, the player, at the beginning of the story. But I was like, oh my God, this is so totally not his sister. This is some sort of otherworldly monster who's using his grief to drive him to this. And and I was right. And I don't mind that as a motivation because he's already not in the best place emotionally, you know? So he's vulnerable like to it. So like that kind of like motivation as someone becoming evil is also sympathetic as well as makes sense. It's reasonable.
which reminds me of The Boys. Once I catch up and I want to do like another episode on it once I like watch the whole thing, but I just feel like even like the worst characters, I'm like, you're sympathetic too. And it's like I still like you. And so it's just but we'll get into that later.
Yeah. Very well written characters on that show.
Yes, yeah. So to just see in chat a little bit, Johnny Boy was saying earlier, I like this trend in acting. You should only have someone who is exactly the same as the character play that character. This applies to animals. I want real dinosaurs and dragons in my movies. I concur. All right. Yeah, I do like that they like you can only have the exact person. You can't, which is interesting though, as far like, in voice acting, a lot of boy characters are played by women. So because
adult
they can
women.
adult women, yes. Well,
yeah. I mean, there's one TV show where they had a little boy play the voice of a little boy, Chowder. There was a very short run show, and one of the reasons why is like you can hear it. His voice is changing.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did that in Adventure Time as well too, but they allowed him because like the character got older too. He started at 12 and ended at 17, so they just like they allowed it to happen.
It wasn't just the fact that the kid who played Chowder was getting older. The guy who created the show and was running it was getting tired because he was like he said that the production speed was so fast, like way too fast, and it was kind of exhausting. So he also just wanted to end the show. Yeah, there was like a two-pronged problem there, where he's like, I want to end this.
Right. And obviously it doesn't always happen. Like you have Matt Stone and Trey Parker who will play kids and stuff, like, and they change the voices and the pitch and stuff.
They're the boys, the two main ones, Stan and Kyle, are pretty much them. Like
yes, right. When they're like, oh, we're kids, yeah.
So, and
they and then the dads,
and the dads too, and they do their episodes in like 6 days.
I know that they kind of changed form, like when they did like 10 episodes, something, I forget what it was, but they were churning them out, and then they kind of changed at least a few years ago. But it was still like, man, this seems really exhausting that you're having to throw like just animations, especially.
The thing is though, is that one of the reasons why they said that they were able to do it that quickly is because technology improved. But then for animating. But then also one of the reasons why I think the show was so successful is because they did the 6 days to air thing, meant that they were always like on trend. Like,
You had the current events. Yeah, yeah.
they were so, like, if they had done the show and they filmed it 6 months ago, well, 6 months ago things were like dramatically different. The things people were saying were dramatically different. So it's like it's not as impactful as like 6 days ago we came up with the script.
Well, I think they even did with the 2016 election, I think it was, like, they have, like, different endings too, because 'cause they're, like,
Yeah.
depending on
Yeah.
who gets elected, they had so I thought that was fun. But
They're
yeah, so
smart.
but voice I just know, like, anime and stuff too, like, a lot of male characters are played by females, and because I love voice acting and stuff, so, it's just, like, if you had to like, "Oh, you can only have I guess you'd also have to be, like, very literal too, I can only have a ninja boy play Naruto, or I have, someone with magic powers play this character," or something,
I know.
so
Well, I mean, it was so shitty because like a few years ago, Phil Lamar, who was the voice of
Mhm.
Samurai Jack, he had defended the whole idea of we could play anyone as voice
Yeah.
actors. He had defended it, and then like I think it was last year, he like reversed his attitude on that and was
Oh,
all like,
no.
no. We have to play who we are, and it's like Phil Lamar. You have played
That's
uh
really limiting in anime, especially for
I know. And it's like, and especially Phil Lamar, because it's like he already had played so many different types of characters at that point. You know, he's
yeah.
already had an insanely established career in voice acting. And like, I know, like you were Wilt on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. There's no monsters that play
Yeah.
basketball in the world, okay?
Yeah, I
Like,
was gonna say, like, Alan Tudyk can't play, like, all the animal voices, and Frank Welker does too, though, like, you need to have a
yeah.
dog play a dog, a mouse play a mouse, um,
Deep
that's
Bradley Baker, his
Deep
whole
Bradley Big
career
Yes, yeah.
his whole career is playing animals. Like, come on, it's ridiculous to make that kind of request. It's they're gonna go, oh well, we don't mean that far, and it's like, well, still, Phil Lamar, you
It's
played
slippery slope.
Samurai Jack, okay?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just it's that definitely makes things limiting for everyone too. And it's like it's a cartoon. This is where like you can do whatever you want in a cartoon. That's why I prefer like if anyone wants to do animations, I want to do the sound design for it. So I'm putting feelers out here now. But just because it's like you have like the real world, it's hard to do stuff, but in a cartoon you can draw and make it a lot easier than having to get a lot of like visual and special effects done. Well, yeah, special effects done, which is why in Corner Gas, with like one of the most popular Canadian sitcoms, they ended it and then came back in animated form because they were older and stuff. But they even like mentioned too, where they're like, "How did you like build this thing so quickly?" And you're like, "I don't know. I just feel like I'm a lot more capable. Like I can the physical limits don't hinder me anymore." So like they play into it too, or like they can do which
Yeah.
at first I was like, I don't think I like it because I liked how it was just like very yeah, simple in the original show, but then because they call it out, I'm like, I accept this. Now that you're like kind of being meta about it, I will.
No,
By the way, oh,
Oh yeah, Jamie Foxx had this thing where like he was on Joe Rogan recently and he was talking about how he was having people play different things in some
mm,
comedy thing, and one of them was like Robert Downey Jr. playing like an Asian man or whatever. Like he's like, I don't care. He basically defended also comedy, that like you could step outside of yourself in comedy and play whoever, like live action, and it would still be okay. Um, he's very, and it was funny too because I think I saw that like the day before Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage,
oh yeah.
and Jamie Foxx was involved in that. And like it was funny too because one of the conversations was how he was defending Dave Chappelle's right to make any jokes he wanted to. And it was like, wow, he really, really meant it because he like actually ran on stage to help defend Dave Chappelle. Like, goddamn, Jamie Foxx, good job.
Wow. Oh, I didn't even know he did that. That's awesome.
Him and Busta Rhymes, which I was surprised Busta Rhymes was still alive, honestly.
Yeah, I've never really thought about him before, so
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised too when you just haven't heard about them in
Yeah.
a while. Um, Says, do pi show some decimals? You know what? I'll do a pay to play here. If we get a super chat in, I will recite pi, and it could be from anyone. So you can pay in pi. Pi amount.
Pay like 3.14.
3.14. Yeah. Let's see. Tree Surgeon says, my narrative memory is incredible, but I could tell you anything about properly running my finances. Or couldn't, I assume. Yeah. I've been bad. I used to do better bookkeeping with my finances when I'm like trying to go through how much have we spent on our cards and whatever, and I've not been doing that. We have more chats in here than I can keep up with now. I was scrolling up. I just don't.
Oh, you froze a little bit. Let me look at chat.
I forgot to mute my phone. I kept thinking, mute your phone before we go on air. And like, it's going to end up ringing, and then you don't want to do that. They don't have to talk about how you didn't mute your phone. So remember to do that.
Well, you froze, and then it came back with your phone going off.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm here now.
Yeah.
Toto says the Big Short is great, especially Steve. Steve,
Carell?
is it Carell? It says Carol.
It's Carell.
Okay. And then it broke my brain for a second. I was like, I think it's Carell, and then I just forgot. Like, who is that? He's like, everyone looking outside, angry with all the corruption. I don't know anything about the movie, so I need to. Hi, G-Man. Says, I struggle to work out how a villain called Cruella de Vil, who makes clothes out of puppy skins, becomes a persona that was misunderstood and a victim of circumstance. Doesn't work for me.
I watched that movie, and in my Discord I wrote my thoughts as I was watching it, and that movie's so fucking bad. Like I cannot believe how bad it is, and why anyone thought it was a good idea to make that movie in the first place.
I almost watched it. I saw, like, I still haven't. So I'll save opinions until I watch it, but I don't have high hopes.
It's not good. Yeah.
Says, if I had any money, I would pay that. 3.145 is about as excited as I allow myself to get. Well, we'll see. Any amount will do. Have to think about it. Yeah, I love Alan Tudyk. Okay, well, the Jordan Peterson thing. I think I have this link here too. So it is, which tab? It says, reportedly suspended him after he ran afoul of its rules in a tweet about transgender actor Elliot Page. I think the tweet is here somewhere. Oh, he says, remember when pride was a sin and Ellen Page just had her breasts removed by a criminal physician? So I think, and that was me reading the words of this banned tweet that we totally don't approve of here on YouTube. I don't know if they're going to care, but yeah, so apparently that's what got him banned.
It's so crazy to me that they keep trying to act as though, like, they keep showing pictures of Paige and going, Paige is so brave, Paige is so beautiful and strong and awesome, and I'm like, Paige looks like Paige is dying of cancer. That's what I look at. That's what I see. I'm like generally concerned that something is actually physically, medically wrong. And
is this a picture of the current Paige, or is this?
That's an older photo, I think.
Okay. Well, I just mean as far like after the transition or before, because the hair, I see like hair. I just can't tell how much.
Yeah.
Paige. I like us only referring to Paige as Paige, so we won't use pronouns, and we're only using last names. So we're definitely not.
That is my method of not getting a reported tweet on Twitter about Paige. Paige is Paige.
But E period Paige.
Yes, E Paige. Because I don't want to play a game where I have to agree, and I don't want to have to play a game where I get kicked off. You know, I don't want to do that bullshit.
Yeah,
no, that's Justin Bieber.
And I guess that's it's one of those things too, though. Like it's just when you're being forced to like, oh, like you're gonna get in so much trouble if you don't do the things that we want you to do on here though, and like how to say what you want. Cause it's like, I don't have any problem there. I think we talked about this last week too. Like there are trans people. Like well, I can't remember if this was on air or off air when we talk,
Yeah.
but it's just that like, I don't mind referring to someone as the preferred pronouns, especially when like I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But for like Blair White is, we mentioned this too, like that she's girlier than
Yeah.
me, like,
Yeah.
so I just
Well, I was talking to someone, this is actually on Caleb's channel. I was talking to him about this, and he said it's respectful to use someone's pronouns. And I said, here's the difference between some, like, and it's respectful to tell someone, a Muslim person, there's pork in that dish. Here's the difference. And it's the one I brought up, is that it's like, I can respect your pronouns. I will call you by your pronouns. Do not expect me to give you my pronouns. That's my line. I'm not going to, like, you can see me and know. If you get it wrong, I'll correct you. And honestly, I'm not pissed when people get it wrong, because people assume I'm a man all the time on the internet. I don't fucking care. It's not that big a deal. What is a big deal is when their assumption leads them to be prejudiced against me for being a man. That's when I'm like, okay, you're a piece of shit. I don't care that you misgendered me. That's not my problem. My problem is you think it's okay to treat somebody like this.
because
that's where my line is.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I don't know. Yeah, we don't have to get into the whole thing, but I just like I have trans friends and I'm okay. I think my biggest thing is the they them one that again, I don't know if YouTube is gonna ban us for talking about it, but I'm like, I'll just say that's the one that I'm less okay with agreeing with. And even like I have family members who are like on the Democrat side, but they're like more old, like they believe mainstream media and all that, but they're not like into the woke thing, so they just kind of follow into some of the stuff. But even talking to them recently, like they agree too that like he or she is fine, but like will not do, especially since one was an English teacher, so like not going to use they them in a singular form. That's where they draw the line. But yeah, so stuff like that, where so it's like, okay, like there are still people with some like you're gonna put your foot on the ground for this and or have draw the line somewhere.
I'm definitely not going to be using made up pronouns. That's my the newly made up ones. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna remember that. I like there's it's from a Netflix show. I don't know what show it is. I just saw a clip of it. It's the Monahan guy. He's being introduced to a table full of people, and they're all telling him their sexual identities and gender identities and their pronouns and all of them, like, and what kind of other problems they have, like if they're autistic or whatever. And it's like, and it was not a joke, it was serious. And there's like 5 or 6 people at this table all doing this at once, and I'm one right after another, and I'm like, who the fuck is supposed to remember any of that? I have a hard enough time when I am introduced to a crowd of people and they're all telling me their names.
Yeah, I'm not gonna remember names ever.
I'm not even gonna remember your names. Why are you expecting me to remember your made up pronouns?
When I served, it just reminded me of like when I served at Second City. So we'd have like 50 people at a time. So we'd have like everyone comes in. So then you're serving 50 people, and we'd have the different tables. And I would remember the position they were sitting in. It would be like, we've got 2 up front, 2 in the back, and whatever tables and stuff too. But if they ever like groups come in and they'd switch places, or they would just like and like expect me to remember, like I am not paying attention to your faces. I remember the drink and where it was associated and positioned to the table. Like, so I know you got a vodka soda, like I can do that. But like if you moved at all, I have no idea who you are anymore. That's just how it is. Like,
that's hilarious.
And I have like, 50, I had like I remember one time I had like 75 people at once though, because I had to like do the whole theater myself, and because it's like, oh, it's going to be a slow show because we're not going to get that many, so they only had 1 server, and then it ended up being 75 people. So it's like, cool.
That sucks. But, also, like I've said this before, but pronouns are used when you're talking about someone, not to
To
someone.
them, yeah, yeah.
Like, and also another thing though is that, like, if you're talking to someone, using their name is often a sign of like trying to control them anyway. Like, if you don't, like, you're like
Oh.
trying to like dominate them in the conversation if you constantly
You
use their
say it.
name.
See, I've always thought like, I never this is something that I've, like, talked about or thought about before about how, like, I'm not good because like, sometimes you just kinda say it and, like, when you're speaking like, maybe it's a way of intimacy of any sort too, like, that you just kind of acknowledge that, like, "Yeah, I'm addressing," but I never do. I'm like, "It's just the 2 of us. I don't need to really say your name in this because you know I'm talking to you already," but the only thing is
Yeah.
like an improv, you wanna do it just so that way you can like people the audience can be established, so you're
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
"Alex, hey." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay,
Yeah.
Alex, thanks."
Yeah. Well, no, see, those make sense, but yeah, if it's a one-on-one exchange or a direct like DM kind of situation where you're just exchanging back and forth and someone is using your name, I would
Mhm.
watch out because
Usually it might be condescending or something, like,
usually.
"Thanks
So it's
so
like to
much,
me, I'm sort of
Alex."
like using someone's pronouns to them makes no sense. Using
Uh-huh.
someone's name to them like constantly in a back in a one-on-one back and forth also like
Mhm.
warning signs here.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I hadn't really thought too much about it in, like, a red flag sort of way, but yeah, definitely.
Well, I
Um
mean, the whole thing about them wanting you to know their pronouns to me, I'm sort of like, so you want me to talk about you? That's
Yes,
what
yeah, that you're
that's
like, "Hey, you want me to think
you
about you when you're not here, or even if you are here, that you want me to talk about you to other people while you're around, and as if you're
yeah.
not here."
Yeah, I know. I'm like, how narcissistic do you think you are that like when you walk away, you think I'm still thinking about you?
Uh-huh,
Like
yeah.
I probably am not. Most people are writing a grocery list in their head or like a to-do list in their head at any given moment of the day. So I'm like, they're not thinking about you.
Yeah, I'm usually thinking about food or animals, so probably not you.
Yeah.
Raphael also says LGBTQ plus should be changed to 3.14152429994. You're just saying it that way because it's wrong and you want me to correct it. But I'm thinking. Some of
You're
those
like,
numbers
no,
are right, but
not unless there's a super chat.
uh, yeah, okay, so oh, O2HO2 is back with a bunch of random information about, I
Yes.
think, other country things, so welcome. I like my pronouns are N and M. Hmm.
Mm.
Mm. Uh, don't Tree Surgeon says, "Don't be psychotic about it, but seriously, people love hearing their name in the appropriate context." I actually, I get that's probably true, but I was thinking about how, like, there are people who I've talked to, like, one-on-one, and we might go a long time, and I've never heard them say my name, so when they do, it's jarring where I'm like, "Oh." It's just like I've never heard that word come out of your mouth before, though, so, like, I remember, like, specific incidents that happened, so, I
I
mean,
know
but I guess
I've
it's, like,
got
flattering, but
I know, like, I've seen people do it to, like, compliment someone, like, they while they're there and everything, but if they're I've seen people do it repetitively, like, they do it
mhm.
multiple times in a row, um, and
No,
it's
I
usually a fraught conversation that, like,
yeah,
it's it's
yeah.
it's kind of a domination
I've
kind
been
of
in,
thing at
like
that point.
yeah, arguments with people, like, who've done that where it's like, "Beverly, I'm something though, too." I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, you don't need to be like, again, it's just the 2 of us here, like, you don't need to be saying my name, like, you're
Yeah.
doing it out of frustration, and
Well,
so
it is if you're in a crowded room and someone says your name, totally,
yeah, that's fair.
that's like reasonable.
Also, G-Man said earlier, "Elliot Page is a bigger dick than me now." This is a crying face.
Sad, yeah, sad face.
Yeah, well, same for me. Um, alright. Well, now that we've spent 40 minutes not talking about Lightyear, let's get into Lightyear.
I was bored the whole time.
I okay. They were and I had, like, very specific issues about that seemed like less important stuff, like, I had bigger plot story issues as well, but like there were things where I was just like watching it. It ended up being about Buzz working with like learning a little bit more about friendship and but not even okay, we'll get into like the writing of it too, but like because he like already had a friend, but then also needed to learn friendship still too, which didn't make sense. But so it had like a lot of other characters. You had Socks, the cat. Why in Toy Story would there not have been any other toy sold regarding this movie that like existed in it though too? Like Socks would totally, it would have been Buzz Lightyear and Socks sold as a unit together. It
Yes,
would
it
have,
have.
and it's kind of racist that you didn't have the black friend character be sold as a toy then too. Come on, like if you're gonna say that. So I had like very like the particular things because I think it would have been fine that if they were saying that, because I think we'll get into the Tim Allen not being in it part, but like I think what the director someone was saying, like, oh, you know, it's a different character. We didn't want to say that it was like a prequel or sequel to it directly. Okay, I could accept that, except at the beginning of the film, it says and a boy named Andy got a Buzz Lightyear toy after saying that this was his favorite movie. Like this is that movie. And so you specifically related it to Toy Story and said that this is the movie that this boy saw and then got the toy for.
Which means there would be a Socks toy.
Yeah, which there was so that just like ruined everything. That totally means that there so I was really bothered by that, but it was just like Buzz kind of had to learn the same lesson that he learned in Toy Story, but it just wasn't as good. And when my boyfriend and I were talking like that, he also said too that like so this all happened in 1995. This movie took place like or this happened was made in 1995 because that's when he which I was surprised that was 95 because I thought it came out in like 98. But
no,
so
95.
it also like it would not have been called Lightyear in 1995 because that's some more today trend type of movie. Like it would probably been like Buzz Lightyear and then space
like
whatever they were called. Also in 1995 probably wouldn't have had a lesbian character in it.
No, it wouldn't. It would not. I mean, and like it was so funny. I've heard like one of the things is that they had been predicting the movie was going to make like $130 million, and then they started saying, "Oh, it fell short of its $70 million goal," and it was like, why are you pretending as though you hadn't almost predicted almost double that? Like what? Like you really think we have the memories of goldfish? What the fuck? But it's so I think like I literally saw a review where someone said my 6-year-old fell asleep in the theater. And I was like, that's bad. That's who the audience is. And you can't even keep a 6-year-old or like up for how short this movie is. Like, come on, that's really, really bad.
Yeah, I want to get into the plot line. Let me remember like the small issues that I had too. So I had the I didn't mind that Zurg ended up being like future Buzz. I thought like, okay, I can accept that. But the Zurg name, the way that they said that, like, oh, these robots just don't know how to say Buzz correctly, so they call me Zurg. Like, that was so lazy. Like, I could have accepted anything else that, like, these robots, like, this is and it seemed to be the only thing that they could say, like, that this is all they say, so that I'm just addressed as this, so, like, that, but that's what they refer to me at, like, that's just how it's called, like, and maybe they meant that, but it wasn't phrased that way, so it just made it seem like they mispronounce Buzz and it comes out Zurg. And like, that's so stupid. Like anything, I could have accepted like anything else, but that was the laziest way that you could have done that.
I also had a question because Future Buzz did not make the robots. He found them and he found the ship. Who made the ship?
Them?
Who made the robots?
Future Buzz, why would you choose to wear that robot outfit though? It just seems unnecessary. Like that just comes across as like, yeah, I'm gonna be doing bad things here. Like, and why do you need the mask at all? But yeah, so I had questions on that too. Another big, I guess this is a big one, was again with the toy thing. Buzz never said to infinity and beyond alone. It was always in conjunction with his friend and then the granddaughter, and it was always said like in such a song. Again, if this was if the toy was based off of the movie, you wouldn't have had like he wouldn't have said the whole thing. So at the very least, I think it would have been better. Like I think Buzz should have been way cockier at the beginning and like not wanted anyone's help, and then he learned friendship, and then so he starts off saying to infinity and beyond alone, and then at the end, by the end of it, when he has friends, he says it together, and like you build that up, and then that makes sense.
Well, see, the lesson at the beginning was they set up the lesson at the beginning that Buzz needed to. He has 2 lessons that they set up at the beginning of the movie, which most kids' movies have lessons. Like I don't have a problem with that being the setup of children's movies at all. But there were 2. One was that he needed to learn to work with rookies. And the other one was that he needed to get over his own ego when it came to making decisions, and including like not blaming himself for everything, but not trying to take everything on himself at the same time, which is what he did at the beginning of the movie. So, but by the end, those 2 lessons are thrown out the window, and instead the lesson is he needs friends. And it's like, that was not the lesson he needed to learn that they set up in the opening. Like it was a complete mess over like the direction they were going with that. Yeah. And I felt that like it was super messy. Like if children's movies are supposed to have lessons, set up what the lesson needs to be. Yeah. Set up what the lesson needs to be in the beginning, solve it by the end. Like, but they couldn't focus. They're like, oh no, now this is the lesson.
Yeah, I guess it was like that he ended up trusting the rookies, and it wasn't just rely on himself. But even at the beginning, he had Alicia, who like they were best friends, and like he trusted her. So it was already like he shouldn't have had her. Like I thought it was a nice relationship, but like I just don't think that they should have had that dynamic if they wanted, because you kind of go with like similar to like many other things, and specifically in Pixar Cars, you have like the cocky solo guy who like, okay, well now like I get beaten down, and like I need to like learn how to be friends with other people and kind of build myself back up. And so, and you could have done that differently in here, but it was just I just think that they were trying out different. They were just trying to make him more, I don't know, like this. I don't know why they chose to make him like to be about friendship. Like I think you could have used the Tim Allen version of Buzz and made still a great movie, because like you already had like this fun character in Toy Story, and he had like really heartfelt moments throughout the Toy Story series. At least I don't think in the actual Toy Story I cried during it. I will say I did cry a little bit, and because I knew it was coming with Alicia dying and stuff, but it still made me sad when he just goes back in the empty room.
I did not get upset. I don't know. I felt like the pacing, like there was a lot about pacing that was completely off.
Oh yeah. I'm just
it was really hard for me to get into that movie. Like I cried in Toy Story 3. Like I was like, you motherfuckers, why are you doing this to us? And in Toy Story 3 with the incinerator, I was like, this is too far.
Yeah, that got dark.
But and so like, but I didn't feel any of that like at all in Lightyear. Like I never really felt anything. I gasped out loud when that one guy knocked the socks off the table and almost destroyed socks. I gasped
times where I was worried about socks.
I know, that was the only character I cared about. I was like, no, not socks. Like, and then he's like beating himself up. He's like, oh, and everyone's all like, it's just a mistake. And I was like, no, he almost destroyed socks. That's not
killed someone just because it's an accident. Like, doesn't mean that you just like, well, all right, mistakes happen. Like, I thought they might go into like, hey, everyone makes mistakes, but we need to learn from them, and try to do, like, and Buzz saying like, just try to do better. Thought, yeah, that's like good advice actually. Though, like, he should be trying to do that. Though, like, you don't, like, you're making mistakes because you're careless. So if you're just trying to be more careful and aware of your surroundings, this would probably happen less. I don't think I was worried about that part, because I figured like, oh, that was kind of. I was worried when what's her name, Keke Palmer's character was like jumping through space, and then and socks like fell off and was like floating away. I got scared if she wasn't actually going to catch him because they've talked about you're going to float in space forever going in the same direction. And I thought like, oh, he will, and he's just a robot, so he'll just go till he powers down.
Yeah, that was a little, that part was a little tense. I was worried about him then. But like, I don't know, like I think it was about around the time where they revealed Future Buzz where I was like I just wanted to do anything else.
I
At
know,
that
yeah.
point, I was like, I'll go watch like low frame rate 1995 Toy Story. I'd probably have a hell of a lot more fun right now.
I'll say too that especially for a Pixar movie, crying once for me briefly is really saying something. So because I tend to cry way more in a lot of movies though. I don't cry like in real life as much, like when stuff happens because I don't know. I think I go into, but I think like with the fictional things though too. I'm like, oh, like I don't. It's not in any sort of like go into like emergency mode when something's going on. It's just kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, like here's this thing
You
that I
gotta
can just,
experience it. Wash it over. It washes over you. There's nothing you can do but
yeah,
experience it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't like
For
fix
me,
anything.
it's whenever they kill the dog. That's the part where I start crying like almost every time. Like I don't know that I've ever seen Old Yeller, but I've read the book. But but like there's
Oh,
so many
anything with
movies,
animals.
and there's so many movies where the dog dies, and I'm like, there's that movie The Mountain Between Us, and they're like, it's Idris Elba and Kate Winslet, and they're like lost
Mm.
in the snowy mountains, and they have a golden retriever with them. I spent that entire movie terrified that the golden retriever was going to die.
Yeah. Oh, anytime there are animals in
Time.
anything, I'm so worried. The movie Two Brothers, which I think was about two tigers, I don't even think I saw it so long ago now, but I just remember I cried a lot. I think they got separated, and then that made me sad that, that so it was just, oh yeah, anything. I've probably mentioned this before too. I cried in a Budweiser commercial when the guy was raising the horse, and then they got separated. And by the end of it, I mean, like he like sells the horse, and at the end, like they meet back up as this horse is delivering Budweiser, and I just thought that was so heartwarming, and I cried every time it came on. Just that
That's so funny.
commercial.
I did not cry. I don't cry at those Sarah McLachlan commercials about dogs who need help, by the way.
I don't think I do either. I think
because she's tugging so hard on your
yeah.
heartstrings that I just want to slap her. I'm like, it's not working.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think I wanna be told that, like, that this is sad and this like, you just need to show it's a show, don't tell.
yeah.
Yesterday, I found this giant moth in the mudroom, because we leave the door open for the geese, but it was, like, this big green moth, and I found out when I looked it up, it's called a Luna moth, and, let's see if I can find a picture, but, and it was like wing was kind of ripped and stuff too. And it made me really sad though, because I was like trying to see, because I just like anything that comes across my doorstep, literally, I'm like, I'm going to try taking care of it. But like, you can't fix a broken wing on that. But then I also read that when I was like, should I try giving it, I was reading like butterflies and moths, they can drink like sugar water. So I was like, okay, let me try and do it. I'm like, I don't know where to feed you though. Like, you're not eating anything. And I read more about the Luna moth, and apparently they have no mouths because they don't eat, because they only live for a week.
Oh, okay. So
they yeah, they're in eggs for 10 days, and then a caterpillar for like a few weeks, and then a pupa for a couple more weeks, and then you're just the moth for 1 week, and then you die. So I was like, well, I guess you don't really have much longer anyways. So
this animal is very old in its lifespan.
yeah, I'll
But I
set
think
you back
it's
out.
okay. He's had a long life.
Put it up in it was like windy, so I like tried to find a spot in a tree that would be able to hang out in, and so but yeah, but I was just like, yeah, let me try and I'll help you out if I can. Again, I have the baby duck that I'm trying to help practice
Yeah.
him with his legs. So I just like, I love animals. Let me show this Luna moth because it's so pretty.
Oh, those are gorgeous.
And they're gigantic because it was like this big.
Wow. That's so
But
pretty.
yeah, and I guess they're pretty common in the Americas, but I'd never seen one before, so I was really excited.
Oh.
Um,
Bing, what is wrong with you?
I'm in Okay. Let me explain. I'm in Microsoft Edge right now because when I use Brave with StreamYard and Brave, it overheats my computer. So then I have to
Oh,
use
that's
StreamYard and
weird.
Edge, but I can't share with Brave. I can only share with the browser that I'm using. So
Yeah.
Edge just has it. So
Okay.
that's my defense. Okay. I
Okay.
usually have Brave search engine though.
Fair,
That
fair.
is why.
I'm like, I just saw that and I was like, what the hell? Who does that?
Thank you for yelling at me about it. But it's because something's wrong with my computer and I need it fixed, and because the fan gets so loud and everything. So apparently, not in Brave, StreamYard stays quiet. I think it's okay. Yeah, it seems okay. All right. Let me do a couple of these super chats. I saw Johnny Boy Quickdraw earlier. Johnny Boy Quickdraw does not acknowledge the existence of pronouns. Please use Johnny Boy Quickdraw's full name when referencing or addressing Johnny Boy Quickdraw. Thanks for not being a bigot. Well, Johnny Boy Quickdraw, your name is a mouthful. It's not just because it's kind of a tongue twister. I was struggling when I was reading it in that. I will do that because actually I hate people who are so lazy with the name Beverly. Like, oh, it's so long. So they always shorten it to Bev, which I hate though. But I'm like, it's 3 syllables. Is it that hard to do? And I'll also say any other nickname. I will go by any other nickname ever.
Like Asian invasion.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was called in high school. Actually, we have in my gym class, my friends and I made our own gym team name, and we were Team Knock 'em Down and Kill 'em, and we got our own T-shirts, and the logo was a flaming fist. And then we got our names on the back, like sports shirts too. So like mine was Asian Invasion, and had numbers on and stuff too. But yeah, so that was just like the nickname. I had a lot I was the token minority in my friend group because like they were all white. And so I was Asia, Asian Invasion, China, Japan, Darky. These are all my nicknames in high school. So and I was okay with all of them. Didn't like Bev. Yeah, Darky was a main one.
That one's hilarious. It reminds me of that story that like Dan Avidan said about like, oh, he was like walking around at like some event and his Asian friend was there and his nickname that was Chinaman. And like he like called out to him and he's like, yo, Chinaman. And this woman is like and he's like, no, it's okay. We know each other.
I like that Ricky Gervais joke too when he was talking about like the Chinamen. Like, what would you call the women? And then like, well, Lady Chinamen. And then they're like, oh, I don't know, when they came over from the boat and you introduced them, was that they're like, what's your name? Ling. Like, oh, okay. Well, then what's your last name? Ling. Your name is Ling Ling. And like, yeah, Ling Ling. And he turns, hello. And then he's like, it's not me. It's the Chinaman. He's making that joke. But I mean, we'd have that too. My friends would also call me Bevelry, was the nickname I had. So
my nicknames were really boring. I was Alex, which is my actual name. I was
not a nickname.
No. Although a lot of people thought it was because they thought my name was longer, which it's not. Anne, which is my middle name. Annie, or Alex Ann. And that was it. That was what people called me.
Okay, I'm gonna think of some other nicknames for you.
I have one friend who calls me Kimosabi sometimes. That's it.
Okay, let me think. We'll get there. We'll find something. I'll have to think about other stuff you like or dislike or something that I don't know. It needs something I can make fun of you for, but you're too perfect. So
I am not. We do have another
super chat. We have a couple, right?
Yeah.
G-Man. Zerg is Buzz Lightyear's preferred pronoun. I love that. That's what Zerg goes by. So sorry.
To be fair, Tree Surgeon had said Zerg was Buzz's pronouns like 2 comments
up. Oh no.
Yeah, he did.
G-Man spelled Zerg differently though. So
yes, they spelled it differently.
Okay, well I'll give you both. I'll give G-Man a little bit more credit because he gave it with money. But Tree Surgeon did say it first. Kersar says This is scented Beverly. It'll be a bit messy, but at least you'll have ice cream. Thank you for the ice cream. It's because it's hot here. That's what I was telling Alex beforehand, that it doesn't feel that hot, but it's humid. So then I just go outside and I'm just immediately drenched in sweat, and it's
That
terrible.
sounds terrible. I hate that.
Yeah. I'm a sweaty person. Let's see. I thought I saw something else.
I only saw 2.
Oh, maybe it was just 2. Maybe my
Yeah.
mind is playing tricks on me. Okay. Or maybe I'm remembering something from the one from earlier. All right. Well, gosh, you guys are talking too much in chat.
We can't catch it all.
I can't keep up with all of it. Something about fairy. I see canvas. I'm just reading some words as I go through. Your nickname is Dark Key. What does that mean?
What does it mean, Basil?
Dark. I don't get that reference. What's Baz pronounced? What does it
Oh,
all mean?
he's referring to
Dark.
Austin Powers.
Oh, that's one thing I haven't seen either.
You've not seen the Austin Powers movie?
I've seen parts of it. That's why it's bad for me to do this type of show, because I have seen nothing. Well, I'm trying to be current now, and like I'm seeing things and all that, but like a lot of the classics I have just not. So I'm too busy watching a lot of B horror movies and stuff, and rewatching TV shows millions of times.
I have access to it, and I really want to watch it. The new Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie.
Oh, okay. I will watch that if we want to talk about it. It was mentioned. I think we were talking about it in D&D the other night, and I've never really watched any of it before, so that's why it just hasn't intrigued me.
I grew up on that show.
Oh yeah, so
I definitely that song is burned into my memory forever.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. It's stuck in there. That and DuckTales. There's another one. Tailspin. Those 3 songs, they're forever stuck in my brain. Like, I grew up on those TV shows.
I can't, maybe I watched them when I was little, but I didn't as I got older. So that's why, the mainstream anime and stuff was what I got into. And then I remember I watched Simpsons and stuff when I was 8, and then the older I got, then I chose to watch Blue's Clues at 15 years old, because I thought it was just it was a cute show. And I'm like, well, I can do my homework and just kind of enjoy singing real time. So I would watch more adult stuff too, and then as I got older, just switch more to kids things, because I'd watch more adult movies when I was little too.
I used to have when I was in college, someone would turn on the TV at night on Cartoon Network and fall asleep to it. So I would wake up to shit like The Backyardigans in college. And I'm or the one that really pissed me off was Dora the Explorer.
The map song.
No, it wasn't the map song.
It was no swiping.
It was the part where they go over where they're going on the map, and she said it once. Okay. She said it twice. All right. 3 times. All right, I guess that's reasonable. 4 times. And I'm like, okay, now I'm pissed. And remember, I was asleep. And then she said it a 5th time, and I literally sat the fuck up and turned off the TV. I wanted to sleep. And I was like, there is no way I could sleep through that kind of boring-ass repetition. That was so annoying. How does anyone stand that show? And they turned it into a movie, too.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's ever gotten that mad about Dora the Explorer. Swiper, no swiping, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I know. It was mad.
Johnny Boy Quickjaw says The Curious Case of Beverly Button. Oh, is that the watching younger things as I got older? Yeah. I was all over. I was watching Charmed at 8 years old and stuff too.
I didn't start watching Charmed until I was in my mid-20s, when I was done with college. I was like, what is this show? And I started watching it. I was like, this is interesting. And then I was like, okay, this is stupid. There got to a point where I was like, okay, it's so dumb, I'm not watching it anymore.
Loved it as a kid. I really, because of magic. I just loved magic. And I'll say too, what I actually did like about that, something they didn't get into super philosophical parts about it, but later they would talk, they'd always have this is for the greater good, but then they'd talk about how this is bad. That they would kind of allude to we shouldn't like the elders wanted them to kill a girl or something though because it's for the greater good. They're like, well, we can't do that. So it had like better morals about like, well, we shouldn't. The ends don't justify the means here, and it kind of so they didn't get as in depth, but it kind of because it was something like I was already not liking it, and I didn't really know why. It was just like this seems bad, and I liked that they ended up getting into like kind of establishing like yes, this ended up not being a good thing.
I think I kind of stopped watching it when that guy who played Victor Von Doom in the Fantastic Four movies was like they wrote his character off, and I was like, oh, he was my favorite character.
Did he play Cole? And is that the one
Yeah,
that was written off? Okay, who ended up being
yeah. Because he went on to bigger things like Fantastic Four.
Okay. I never watched those movies. I think I remember seeing clips of him in it though, but he will always just be Cole to me. and Balthazar. Balthazar was his demon name.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was his demon name.
I'm trying to remember. It's been like 20 years now. Anyway, back to what were we talking about? Lightyear.
Do we have anything else to say about this boring movie?
Let me think. The lack of toys, that was really bothersome. It was also just all pointless in the end too. Like I did feel bad for Buzz because like he wasted the 100 years or whatever it was, instead of being with his friend, and they never even ended up succeeding in that thing. And I get like all the lesson is that maybe you don't have to put like, but then that just makes me sad as a viewer to see that it was like just a way, like he lost everything, like his best friend and anyone else that he knew there, and now they're all gone, and it's only been like a few days for him, and
yeah,
and now you're just like in.
To me, the funniest, the like what is part of it where I was like really questioning things is the day he gets back and his friend is dead, and he goes back to his apartment, and the two guys show up to take socks, and I was like,
yeah,
this is the one moment he absolutely needs socks.
Like, yeah,
I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you two?
Yeah, they did not care. So then I'm like, okay, well, like the new leader is gonna be a bad guy, and then he kind of was, and then kind of what? Then he wasn't at the end, and he's like, actually, like now we're gonna put you in. And I'm like, I don't understand your motivations here. Though, like, why were you such a jerk beforehand, and now
he was a very badly written character.
Yeah.
Very bad.
What else? The To Infinity and Beyond thing, that was really bothersome. Again, like you didn't have Alicia, Izzy, or Socks toys. So like the first two seems racist. Like the whole like it just does not make sense in the world of Toy Story. Any of it though. And I guess we can get into the Tim Allen part.
Oh yeah, and
how,
Chris Evans.
Yeah, Tim Allen did not play Buzz Lightyear. Instead, they had Chris Evans. And I'll say, and even before reading about it too, because I didn't like look into why it was chosen. I say that like I thought that Chris Evans did a good enough job as the character because it was like a serious character though. So I thought like okay, like yeah, he did it fine. But it was, and then reading I think it was the director or whatever, the creator. I was saying that like, well, the story was going to be more serious. So like they didn't want allegedly. And so allegedly it's not about Tim Allen's politics at all, but then allegedly it's about how it was a more serious character. And then like, and they wanted to have like the gravitas to it that Tim Allen's like kind of more comedic wouldn't have brought to it. And I think that you could have, I mean, like, okay, well, that's why it was really boring though. Like the movie was just poorly written though. Like the character was lame. Like Buzz could have been a way bigger personality, way more obnoxious and way more fun. And you could have still had a serious heartfelt moments because like if he was a cocky character and then you have like, okay, you need to hit rock bottom and then like everything falls apart. And then so then he can get serious. And Tim Allen could have done those things.
He could have. Well, and that's the thing too, is that like you compare it to a movie like Up, the main character of Up.
One of my favorite movies.
It's a very good movie. And like he clearly has problems. He's not really connecting with the world anymore. And like he's so like he's flawed, but he's funny. And like he grows in the movie. So it's like but it's entertaining at the same time.
Yeah.
We don't get that with Lightyear. We don't get a really good character arc. We don't get, because he's kind of just the whole way
Mhm.
through,
Yeah, they could have gone in
and
any direction with him, like, just put like, make him a
yeah.
little bit more, uh, something in anyway, but it was just yeah, I read in the one whatever I was reading into, it was kind of they said, like, a Captain America light. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I can see that," where but Cap was even had more fun and, at least playing off of other people because he's kinda the straight man and then playing off of others, but that's and I guess that's kinda what Buzz Lightyear was too, because the other characters were more silly, but, um, I don't know, it was just like I guess I can see too that the original Buzz, he was like the comic relief in a lot of way, that he was the side character that's it's gonna be more silly, but he again had the heartfelt part, and that character could have been his own, like, main lead. Um, yeah, so there's just so much about this movie that was bothersome, and it was, like, 105 minutes long too, and I'm like, "This is way longer than the original Toy Story," and it just which I think was only, like, 87 minutes or something, 86
Yeah, it
minutes.
could have been a lot shorter, honestly.
Um,
Uh,
yeah,
well, and then, 'cause for one thing, it dragged a lot. Um,
yeah,
and yeah, like when it came to how, like, I don't like actors. Like, I like Chris Evans as an actor. I like him as an attractive person, but as a guy who wants to voice his opinions, sometimes I don't like it when actors go, "Screw you, audience, for not liking what I'm making." Like,
yeah, yeah.
I can't imagine having that attitude about people
I
because it's so rude, and it's like, how do you get people to come see your movie if you're gonna act like that? Like, I don't.
Yeah. You don't have to say it that I mean, like, 'cause even if you feel similar, like, you can say it and, like, not everyone's may like this and to each their own, and, those who wanna see it, I hope you enjoy it, kinda thing, but, like, you could be a little bit, less of a dick about it.
Yeah. And then also, like, as I said, that they um they way undershot their predictions on how much money they would make. One of the reasons why is that it got banned in some countries because
Oh.
of the gay kiss. Like,
Oh, okay.
there are
Oh,
some
yeah, yeah.
countries that don't want to see that. Like, they literally will ban it. Like, I'm not for that, but you gotta, like, be aware that that's gonna happen when you
You
make a
know,
movie.
honestly, when I was thinking, because I was reading about it afterward too, I was don't even remember that scene, like, because, like, I just for me, like, I don't care about it, like, I'm like, "Oh, I knew that they were gonna" like, they had the lesbian thing going on, but then I'm like, "I don't even remember at what point they kissed because it was just, like, not, and I
Yeah,
do know that, like, there are some who are upset about it. Sorry, hang on a sec.
someone's talking. Are you referring Tom Hananock Outlaw to Cellular? I've seen that movie several times.
Why are they
I actually really like that movie. It's a very good thriller. Very basic. Um, so yeah, that is what you're referring to, Cellular. Yeah.
I like that you said someone was talking though, like, "Oh, it's just a goose yelling," but it just sounds terrified. I think it was the new goose, and I don't know
Oh,
why she's yelling. I think they're fine. But, sorry, what was Tom Hanks saying? The phone
you
movie? I don't
the
know.
film movie Cellular is from Chris Evans' early career.
Oh, okay.
Thriller
I've heard
starring
of it.
Kim Basinger. Basinger? I don't know how to say her last name, but I enjoy that movie. It's a very good thriller. It came out around the same time as Red Eye, which is also a pretty good thriller
Mm,
film. Like back when they would just make like some basically good, plots that were not like, they're not trying too hard, but they're just gonna make a movie that you enjoy. Like,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
I'm
feel
like,
like
"Okay,
I don't feel like that exists hardly anymore.
just a fun movie." Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, oh, G-Man says, "The real world story of Up ends in the first 5 minutes when the old man puts a shotgun in his mouth." Too real, G-Man, too real.
Yeah,
I
really.
Up has always been one of my favorites. It's just so adorable and funny and heartwarming. Like, everyone always, like, talked about the first 5, 10 minutes about, like, the love story, like, "It's a great love story," and yeah, 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 that's great. I probably cried in it, but, like, the the most emotional. Like there were various emotional parts, and the one was like toward the where they're getting to like the third beat of the movie, that where he's like reading or like looking at the photo album and like and sitting in there and like next to the empty chair and stuff, and so that part too, when he like oh, we never went on these adventures, and then he sees everything, and like that made me sob, and and then so
that was
there are
a
just a
great
couple.
moment. Wait, and like they didn't really have to like nail you over the head with it or anything. Like he just starts looking through it, and like you don't. There's no dialogue. It's another one of those things where there's no dialogue, and it's like really well done. It's just this old man looking at the photos that his wife put in this book. It's beautifully done. But there's a lot of like subtlety like that a lot of people don't do anymore in movies. And Lightyear doesn't have any kind of impact like that to me.
Yeah, I say even if it had like, okay, you have more serious part, I guess there weren't enough, like it wasn't funny enough or it wasn't serious enough. It was just lukewarm. It was tepid.
It was tepid.
But yeah, I just okay. And then not having Tim Allen at first, I don't know. I guess when I was like, oh, Chris Evans, that's cool. And then when like realizing like, well, wait, like what? Because I thought maybe Tim Allen is just, it's easier with voice actors because like you can still play it when you're older and stuff like it, because it doesn't matter what you look like. But then I thought like, well, maybe his voice does just sound a little too old. He's like 70 or whatever now, and so I thought like maybe it's just that he can't sound as young and virile as Buzz Lightyear should. But then when I was like,
vital is probably the better word than virile in that regard. I would say vital, not virile.
I just thought it would be funnier. Yeah. Because he's a young man in his prime.
Yeah, he's virile.
But yeah, but then I was like, okay, but like then I thought like, oh, woke thing, because sometimes I don't always think about the woke stuff, and like that's probably the reason. And then you have like other lame excuses. So it was just like, ugh. Black Phone it's new, says Tom.
So that one I have not seen.
I don't know. Black Phone.
I think it's a horror movie, actually.
All right.
I don't know.
Ooh, okay. If it is horror, we should watch it and talk about it. Ethan Hawke is in it.
Ethan Hawke's career has been so weird lately. Like, oh my god. Like, ever since Daybreakers, I've been like, what are you doing, Ethan Hawke?
Yeah.
He does this great film, Gattaca, with amazing performance, and then it's Daybreakers and all bullshit like that from now on. And it's like, really, man? And then, like, his last good performance was Moon Knight. He was good in that. Best performance he's given in quite a long time. But like, oh my god, there's this really weird movie.
Like, who's he in Moon Knight?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's hero. Yeah. But in there's this so I have a friend who loves watching movie recap videos on YouTube. So there's really bad movies that you've never seen, maybe never heard of. There's one with there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them with Ethan Hawke. There's a bunch of them with Bruce Willis. But one of the ones with Ethan Hawke is just so fucking weird. I don't know what it's called, but what it is that like he's a time cop and he's going after a bomber, and he's also a bartender, and he's talking to a trans woman who's now a female to male trans person, and then that person's talking about how they were an orphan that was left somewhere, and then they went, and then she had sex with some guy and he disappeared and she was pregnant, and then her baby was taken from her after that, and then it turns out that she goes back in time as her male self and impregnates her female self, and I'm like, what the fuck? And this is Ethan Hawke. This is an Ethan Hawke movie, and I'm like, what is this? What monster wrote this?
Can't even keep up with that. I've seen him in Sinister and The Purge.
Yeah, The Purge. Yeah,
and probably other ones too. I thought he was in some other ones. There's another guy that's like in multiple horror movie. Like he's in all the horror movies. I guess there are a few. I can't remember. Oh, is it on here? Patrick Wilson, is that it? I think. Yeah, Patrick Wilson.
Yeah. He's in. I like him. He was Night Owl too in the Watchmen movie, and he was in a great TV show that ended way too soon called Life. No, not Life. A Gifted Man. A Gifted Man. Oh God, I loved that show, and he was the star of it, and it ended after one season, and I was like, no.
I don't think I've seen any TV shows. Huh. Also, with these super chats that we have had, am I supposed to do pie now because we got any, or was I supposed to be waiting for someone specifically to give a super chat asking for pie?
I think you can do it. Okay. I think you said any, so.
Okay.
Hi,
all right.
honey.
Well, then let me think. Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because then I'm like, oh, now that I say it, then I'm gonna like trip up and stuff too, and
you don't want to. Yeah.
Probably still will and get nervous. Everyone's watching. 3.14159265358979322834197495920781649459230781640628628662089986280348253421170679. I think that was in one breath.
That was impressive.
I was trying to just like look at the camera too, so then you're not looking like I'm reading it. I can say it with my eyes closed if people don't believe me, but
I believe you. You said that way too fast for that not to be real. Sorry, in the middle of that, someone was like, "Hey, pay attention to me."
I know, it's all right. It's good because then like getting distracted and like, no, focus up, remember these numbers. But I don't know. I think some of it like has like some I had like created a pattern into it too, because some of it like really it was like 998-628 kind of thing, or 0628-6208. I'm like, oh, these are the same digits, just in a different order. So like that kind of thing like helped. And then I did like rhythm too, where it was just like doing it in 2s and 3s and 4s, or like certain and it just kind of like segmented it on its own. But Johnny Boy Quickdraw says that's impressive, like Weird Al and White and Nerdy.
I love White and Nerdy. That song is so fun.
Me too. Mel Love Cats. How do you know that? For fun. That I decided at some point, like, I want to memorize pi to 100 decimal places. So then I just like, again, it's just a practice and then memorization. So reciting it and like I guess like the mnemonic devices of just like the rhythm and finding like small patterns in it helped. So. And then I just never bothered. I'm like, someday I'll do more. But I think I sort of worked on going to 200, but then I never like completed it. So it didn't commit memory enough. But yeah, so I guess I can't use that for like my 2 truths and a lie now that people have heard that I can do it, which I have used before. All right. Well, thank you for the super chat so far. If you want me to memorize more digits, super chat more, and then I'll work on it. What else do we have? Beavis and Butt-Head, right?
Yes.
I think we can play this and just let this video get demonetized because we're gonna get limited ads anyway, right?
Because you said cunt.
That's a naughty word.
Yeah.
The cunt who shall not be named. Oh, wait. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, so if we don't think that we'll get this taken down or banned, then Twitter. I mean, it's on Twitter.
You'd think it'd be okay, but YouTube's so dumb.
I know. Can you hear that? Was that playing sound?
I can't hear it. I don't see it either.
Oh, because I'm retarded. I forget that you have to hit like add to stream now. There's a button that Carter happened.
Wow.
Is that playing?
We can hear it.
Okay. recovered. All right, let's do this. Yeah, so that was amazing.
Two of my favorite lines from that scene is like, well, I died at the I guarantee it. But like
Me too.
really like having watched it like 5 times now, because I've watched the movie twice so far, and watched the clip several times, is the 2 lines that I think are an absolute beauty are from Beavis, is the lines, "We're subverting existing paradigms."
Yeah.
I feel like I have the skills for today's job market.
Yeah.
I died. Well, and there's a scene before that where they talk about college and where someone says, it's behind the classics department because no one cares about the humanities anymore. Yes, they all went degrees that will help them pay off their student loans. It nails the death of academia. Like, my God, they nail it. It was so damn good. If you've not seen the movie yet, I highly recommend it. It's actually better than Beavis and Butt-Head Do America. It is so damn good.
I've never really watched much Beavis and Butt-Head. Maybe like a little bit the old stuff. I don't even which one's which. I don't even know.
So Beavis is the blonde, Butt-Head is the one with braces and brown hair.
Brown hair. Beavis blonde, Butt-Head brown. So I'm gonna have to repeat that a bunch, and then I can memorize it. Otherwise, it really needs to commit to memory, or like
It also has a bunch of jokes about politicians and the deep state. I mean,
that's amazing. Yeah,
it's a fucking hilarious movie. It also like has jokes about soft on crime judges and shit. Like, it's hilarious, and
I'm so happy.
I know. I was like, I had to keep rewinding it the first time I watched it because there were so many like jokes upon jokes upon jokes that I had to like wind back and to hear the jokes again. And also some of it's like some physical comedy too. So like it's really worth watching. I was always a Beavis and Butt-Head fan, like as a kid. Like, I watched it. I loved Do America when it came out. I thought it was an amazing movie. And yeah, it's really good. Do the Universe is better.
All right. I feel like I should watch everything for I like to watch stuff in order, and
I would say like Beavis and Butt-Head, the TV show, was never like a huge plot driven
pretty episodic.
Like, no, not really. Like it was mostly like these 2 idiots getting into trouble and getting and falling into like problems. There's a great episode where like Beavis is choking on a piece of chicken and like turning purple, and Butthead is just like on an adventure on his own because he's not realizing that like Beavis is gonna die. Like, that's like one of the most memorable episodes. But it's a really good there's clips you could watch of it like that are really awesome, that are like good. There was a Super Nintendo game that I had, and then they revived it in 2011.
Played it. Yeah.
The show, and then there's Do America, which I'm like, I don't think you need to watch like anything else. Beavis and Butt-Head, like each of these individual things like can live on its own. Yeah. So you don't have to watch Do America to watch Do the Universe. You don't have to watch the show to watch Do America. I don't think so.
But I am the person who watched all of the Unsafe Space videos in order before I caught up to the live streams, and it was 420 episodes. A lot of things not that relevant anymore, but still did it. But then that helped me end up becoming producer on the channels. Yeah. Okay. Let me scroll back up real quick for comments. Oh, back to the Johnny Boy Quick just says that's a Lovecraft story, right? The cunt that shall not be named. Yes, I think that's classic Lovecraft. Hi, Kevin Briggins. I think that was after the Beavis and Butthead clip. Yeah, I think what is it on? Like, where can we watch this?
It's on Paramount Plus,
Is it?
unfortunately.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Yeah,
uh,
Mike Judge is
I
yeah,
know.
he is a genius.
Like like I love King of the Hill. I think it's an amazing TV show. And then yeah, like Beavis and Butthead is like really his start, but Do the Universe is just so damn good. It's so funny. And it's not just them that's funny, but like they do their stupid stuff. But like there's a lot of shit that other characters do that are really funny too. But like there's a couple of things like if you've never watched any Beavis and Butthead, there's some conceits like the fact that other characters don't hear what they say. They only hear what they want to hear from Beavis and Butthead and move on from there. So like Beavis and Butthead are
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
something and no one is hearing them say this weird shit. Or stupid shit as the case may be. And then the other conceit is that when it comes to the movies is that uh they're pivotal to the plot and have no agency in moving themselves towards it. Like it's like pure luck that gets them moving
They fall
towards the
into
climax.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was just talking I don't remember who I was talking to about, like, oh, like, passive character, like, where I prefer, like, okay, like, a character in a story that, like, that you're trying oh, yeah, it was about Cinderella, I think, though, like, in the first I think I was talking to Motown and about how yeah, like, Cinderella just, like, is such a passive character though too, where it's just, like, stuff happened, and then I think in the sequel, like, they end up doing, like, a time thing where I guess in a feminist way where I prefer like, I like when the whatever lead character though has some agency and, like, works toward a goal, but it depends on this, like, and when it's a comedy and, like, and you have dumb characters and stuff too, like, I also think that that works well, when you
Yeah.
just, like, hear these idiots and because I also really love, like, okay, like, you're just falling into whatever situational, comedy that's happening scene by scene, and I think I've written stuff like that too, though, for, like, scripts and things where it's just kinda like, yeah, like, this is just, I think I usually kinda like it might be sort of it would be a fish out of water. Like I have like the straight man and then who's like trying to just do whatever and then but then you have a lot of weird characters or weird situations that you're just like, okay, I don't know what's going on here. But or you can play it into like you have the idiot that kind of like ends up causing on accident and not realizing it. And I think Beavis and Butthead does it really well.
Yeah. They're definitely like I was like not that interested. I should have researched the movie before I decided whether or not I was going to watch it because if I had known that Mike Judge was still like basically in control of it, I would have gone and watched it. Like honestly, but I was like, oh, it's just another one of these sequels
Right.
long afterwards. Like first of all, I mean, that was a dumb decision from dumb reasoning for me in the first place because Do America came out like a long time
So it wouldn't
after.
have yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
I
it's
guess
like it was
my
already
if I were gonna think about like, oh, what's just kind of the low expectations of like, oh, it's probably woke now. Like everything when you're just like you're bringing something back or remaking it, they're just gonna make it worse and they're gonna add in.
yeah.
But then it's like, okay, is the person still based? And then
I'd say my judge is still pretty fucking based.
yeah, yeah. Oh, Johnny Boy Quickjaw. Oh, good. I'm glad you sound like my sister. She watched every Rocky movie before watching the first Creed movie. Yeah, like I that makes me feel better that I'm not the only one who kind of feels the need to I like to have a good understanding of everything first. Like I like to have full context and then before even if it's just like it doesn't matter. Like, well, I know the characters and all the things that they've done and the jokes. And then I could say, you reused this joke or, or something.
Yeah.
This thing changed. Like this wasn't the continuity here is bad. Like that's a big thing too when I watch shows though. I'm like, you changed like are your parents were they your step parents or were they your adopted parents? Because you keep talking about were you were adopted and then had step like I don't know what's going on. Specifically about Criminal Minds is Penelope Garcia character because they kind of had her all over the place with it. All I know
I
is that her
hard
parents died in a car accident. Which ones? Not sure. Who adopted? Not sure what family.
They kind of did that with on Psych. What's that character's name?
Juliet?
Juliet. Like her family changed a lot, like
I
over
can't even
the
remember her
series.
family now.
Like the first introduction is when Lassiter doesn't have anywhere to go for a holiday, and he like invites himself in, and like it looks like she has like the regular huge family that has,
Mhm.
and everything. And then John Cena's her brother.
Her big brother, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then it's like, oh no, wait a
Baby
minute,
brothers?
her dad wasn't really involved in her life because he's a con artist. And it's like, what kind of family does she have? Because it feels
It's
like
this
she
big loving
has
family.
like even the John Cena brother and the William Shatner dad like don't fit together to me. Like
Oh, I forgot who her dad was.
the dad was William Shatner.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, yeah, man, it just keeps reminding me that I need to rewatch the series because 'cause it's been so long, and I love that show so much, which is why I really like the show Castle because I relate it because I think Castle does a good job of having, like, fun scene like, you have, like, your mystery, but then they take it the world seriously, but then they're fun bits, and so, like, the characters are fun.
Yeah.
So, I really like both shows a lot. But yeah, you're right. I didn't think about I forgot about Juliet's family, but they do. I guess you have to tie it in of like didn't they do that later on too, where they talk about I think they do mention like, oh, it's her stepdad later on that's with her family and her mom.
Yeah, then
I
there's a
think they had to like
stepdad.
call it like so I think they had to correct it and they're just like, well, actually, this is and so
Yeah.
uh so I vaguely remember I think that might have happened. So like maybe the
I don't
brother was
know.
just from the original and the other one is with her stepdad's family or something, so they
I know. They
had to,
made it
like,
all like,
retcon
yeah, no, she has nephews, but she only had like one brother and
who
like
seemed to be single or something, like, not a
single
family
and
man, at least.
unattached. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Based on the
so
fact that he was like an international agent or something.
mhm.
Yeah. I know there was a lot about it that I was like, wait a minute, what? Because I don't tend to watch shows as they air. I mostly don't. I watch shows like almost entirely after they are canceled.
I had a friend
and
like that too who yeah.
and I watch it all in a row. Essentially, I'm like, I'm gonna watch every episode of this show, and then I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like,
Yeah, I think I mean, it depends on the show, but there are a lot of times too where I am just, like, late to the
Mhm.
trend where I'm like, "I'm gonna watch this very popular show that I didn't bother watching 5 years ago," and but now and it's not because I was, like, waiting for it to be over, it was just, like, I didn't think about it until now, and then I just watch everything, but
Yeah, I didn't watch Lost until it was over. I didn't like.
oh,
I
really?
know, like so many people were like, "You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it, Alex." And I'm like, I am in grad school. I do not have the mental capacity for this freaking puzzle box of a TV show. I'm not going to
Yeah.
come at this every damn week. I don't care. and then like and then I watched it all in a row and I was like, this show is not that good.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
sorry guys.
I enjoyed it. I think I did watch it while I was airing, and I kept wanting I wanted to keep liking it, and it was just like, "You're not doing a great job with this," 'cause thought it could be a lot cooler, and then it just didn't pan out. But that always happens too with and, like, I think Doctor Who once, what's his name? Was it Stephen Moffat or a
Mm.
different one? Took over where it's just like, these, concepts are really neat, but the follow through just isn't there, and it's always a
I've heard a
letdown.
lot of people don't like his work on Doctor Who. I've never been a Doctor Who fan, but like that's what I've heard is that most people like he was the Sherlock guy too, and I'm
Oh,
I'm like
yeah.
he is like I watched Sherlock and I was like, Benedict Cumberbatch is good in it, like, but when it comes to the mysteries, like I'm sorry, these aren't very good.
They d
Um,
yeah, I don't know because like, they took them from the original, but then they, like,
but
spun
they
it
have to
to
updated
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then it's like,
they're not
okay.
like the same as the actual mysteries. And then also like what's her name? Uh,
I think yeah, I was trying to
the
remember too,
woman,
yeah, I know, I was gonna say, like, I
the
think wasn't
woman,
she
like,
only referred to as the woman in the
yeah,
story in
I
the
know.
written one? But, like, what I I can't remember her name, but I was just thinking about how I didn't like that they made her British. I was like, she was specifically American, and
Well, I didn't like the fact that they made her not as awesome as she was to be
yeah,
her. like
yeah.
He's not supposed to beat her. She's supposed to win.
Sherlock Holmes. It's gonna bother me now too. I cannot remember her name.
Yeah, Irina.
Irina. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, Irene Adler.
Irene Adler. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Are you Blink was good? Is that from as in from Doctor Who? Because I think there was one later on. Like I liked that, but then it ended up being disappointing. I think like the Blink sequel episode where I thought this was going to be neat, and then it ended up not being. It's been so long since I've watched that. Maybe I've blocked it out of my memory as well too, because there were just, and I might be mixing them up because I don't remember if Stephen Moffat was the first one or he took like someone took over, and then and it just made things go downhill. Where it was like these ideas are really cool, but the execution just failed in Doctor Who. And so I kind of gave up on that, and then they went the whole woman thing anyway. So nope.
It was funny. So people in chat are talking about Rocko's Modern
Life. Yeah.
So Rocko's Modern Life and Animaniacs both had like they redid them. There's new versions of them out, and they're both shitty woke versions that are not worth. I literally like. There's a clip from the new. There's a there's a clip from the new Animaniacs where they call Johnny Depp an abuser, and I was like,
what?
I ain't fucking watching it. Like, no.
Was the original Animaniacs like
Spielberg
relevant to that much? Like
they talked about pop culture all the time on Animaniacs.
Okay, I can't. It was a little. I think it was.
There's like the fingerprints episode where someone says like, we're looking for fingerprints, and like Dot is like holding Prince, the pop star, and he's all like waggling his eyebrows at her, and she goes fingerprints, and he's all like, and like I think it was Wacko goes, no, fingerprints, and like because it's a sex joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. And they got rid of the Hello Nurse thing, I think. They like really ruined new Animaniacs. Did you just lose power for a moment?
Yeah. It's concerning. But my internet is still here? Okay. As soon as that happened, I was like, am I gone? I'm probably gone.
No, you're still here.
I don't know why that happened. I think it was a ghost.
Yeah.
I hope it's a ghost and not just the power going out.
Oh, I like what Wicked Psychid said about Doctor Who. Doctor Who had strong woman characters throughout the series until they tried to invent one.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Donna and the Doctor. I thought that was a fun duo because then they became like best friends. Yeah, I'll say like before that they did have a whole thing of like, well, the girl sidekick, the companion is always just like super in love with the Doctor, which it's hard. Oh my God. It's hard to not be, but.
But like yeah, I had a friend who was watching it, so I saw a little bit of the one with Eccleston, and then what's his name, he played Kilgrave on
David Tennant.
David Tennant. And that woman
use him as Kilgrave. He is always the Doctor to me because number 10 is
Kilgrave to me.
Doctor was born to be the Doctor.
But and also Barty Crouch Jr.
Yeah. But I don't think I stopped watching the Harry Potter movies after the third one because I hated new Dumbledore. But
yeah,
I do know that he was in it.
But yeah, he was Barty Crouch Jr. He's also Good Omens. He's
yes. Oh yeah. If you guys have not watched Good Omens, it's a great show. Even Carter likes it. So
I've read the novel like 4 times because I love that novel.
I've heard it's so good. Yeah, I haven't read it.
And I listened to the BBC 4 radio play of it, but I've not watched the show yet.
Oh yeah, I thought it was. I mean, I coming in as someone who didn't know the story at all, like so maybe you will hate it because I don't know what.
Maybe.
I think Carter has read the novel and watched the show, and so I think there are differences, but I think he still enjoyed both because I remember him saying he liked the show. So,
okay.
But for me, I'm only coming in from the show, and I thought it was fun. I thought it was really well
But
done, and Chewie, she really likes it too, apparently.
but yeah, like what I was trying to say is that like that woman who was also I don't know her character's name, but she seemed like a strong character, like well developed in Doctor Who. She also that woman played
What'd she look like? Oh, was she in The Office?
I don't know if she's in The Office, but what I do know her from is Penny Dreadful.
Was she the
She
redheaded or like a or
yeah,
strawberry blonde or something, and
she
with like
was
the mole or wart or
yeah, yeah,
something on
yeah.
her? Okay, yeah, yeah. That was
She plays
Donna.
a yeah, yeah. She seemed like a strong character from the scenes I watched. I like she seemed kind of like already cool. I'm so sick of this narrative that they keep laying down. We need strong female characters. We need strong female characters just over and over and over again. And I'm like, I want to point to like mostly all of sci-fi first of all,
Yeah.
because there's shit tons of strong female characters in there. I like back when I had my Billy Piper. Yes, thank you, Johnny Boy Crickdraw. That's the actress's name. I knew her name was
Oh,
Billy. Yeah, but then
that
there
one.
was a
Okay, she was in the Ninth Doctor. Okay.
yeah, and then there was all these
Right, Rose was her
like
name.
back when I had my original Twitter, one of my first threads was about strong female characters throughout TV and movies and throughout the, decades. And like there's such a long that thread kept growing because I kept remembering new characters.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, fuck you guys for acting like they didn't exist. Like I'm so sick of that. And then their definition of a strong female character is almost always a woman who uh, treats everyone around her like shit, is perfect at everything, and it always has the moral high ground. And I'm like, that's not a character. I'm sorry, that's not a real
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, and they say like they'll kind of do too, like a strong female lead can't really be feminine, like they have to end up being more. And I will say too that like we made fun of like How I Met Your Father just because I thought to me the character isn't bad because she's just like a basic bitch kind of thing though, but it's that like I think the character should be more nerdy and stuff like how they're like just being more interesting that way, or like I don't know. I could say that you can be feminine and still be a strong lead. You just have to be written well, and I don't think
Yeah,
in How I Met Your Father it's written that well.
no, it's
Um,
not. She's kind of
but
not like characterized that well. She's not developed very well.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's the real problem there is that she's not even like the other characters are developed better and actually performed better, sadly.
right, yeah. And so then you have, and then they make everyone like more androgynous though too. So like everyone uses like Captain Marvel now, or especially like with the how they're dressed and stuff too. Like you can't be as womanly. Um,
Yeah.
But and I don't I don't mind if they're not super girly or if they're more tomboyish, like, it just the character just needs to be driven and, like, whatever, like, the goal that's what I mean, like, you have strong female lead in a romantic movie, though, like, and you can be very
Yeah.
like, that is totally fine being, like, super girly and stuff in whatever way, but it's just be interesting, I guess.
Well,
Yeah,
I
Matthew Moran says Mary Sue, that's a big
yeah. Well, I mean, I
turn.
think part of the problem is that they don't want to make these characters flawed. They think to be strong,
I
they have to already
Yeah,
be
be
perfect.
perfect, yeah,
And the
and then but
problem
then
with
you're
that
boring.
yeah, they're boring at that point. They have no what character arc can they possibly have? They can't
Mhm,
grow at all. They have nowhere to go. So it's like, well, then that's not interesting. And they don't need anyone else around them. They're already such a badass. It's like,
right,
well, then
yeah.
I don't want to watch them. Okay. Like,
Speaking of Captain Marvel, like, that was the scene
yeah.
where they had I can't think of what it's called, the gauntlet, and Spider-Man's just like and to Captain Marvel, like, "How are you gonna get there alone?" And, like, to fly across there, and then she's the other girls all fly in or run in, and they're all like, "She's not alone." Like, she does not need you. She literally flew in from outer space and punched an enormous spaceship out of the sky. She can go the, like, 100 yards over there alone. Like, that was the dumbest line just to throw in, "Yeah, vagina
Yeah, I
power."
know. Well, and it was yeah, I know, I hated that so much because they were basically saying like, oh, that part in Infinity War where they said, "Oh, she's not alone." when only like
Right.
two other women showed up, and that was more organic. But then they did it in fucking Endgame, and it was like, wow, you guys are like overdoing this. Like, this is excessive,
over the top,
and especially for what is quite possibly the most powerful character in the entire MCU. Like, she does not need anyone's help.
Right. And
okay.
I'm okay with her. Like, it's cool to have to see like, hey, you are the most powerful superhero in this universe. Like, okay, cool. Like, someone has to be. But then it was like, what a dumb line to say. Hey, like and it still bothers me. I only watched it once, and since that scene, like I was so annoyed by it, and I still am.
It's annoying. It's really bad, which is why, like, I don't want to spoil it too bad for you, but they kind of make fun of that in The Boys season 2.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm in season 3. Am I in season 3? I can't remember where I'm at. Yeah, I think I am in season 3. I think I finished season 2, so I must have seen that. Which part are you talking about?
So there's the joke where they're like, the women are standing together and they're like, girls get it done, that shit. And it's a marketing campaign, and it's in the movie that they're making and everything. And then there's the point later on where the girls are actually having an actual fucking fight. And
it was like such a, like, here's the cat fight when they're
and they're like, and they're swearing, and they're like, and they're like, fuck you, Nazi bitch. And then when she goes, man, girls really do get it done. Like, they're fucking with us. And then I died. I laughed so hard.
That was a great fight too, because it was just like, wow, this is like such a not elegant fight scene here.
No, because fighting is not elegant. It's not pretty. It
wasn't like epic. It was just like a gang beating up, whatever.
The three of
them who didn't pay for their drugs or something. Yeah, and they're just
It was hilarious. It was so, and like as they're watching, the Nazi bitch, one of them was yelling.
That was great. Because then even before this, he was just like, like, look at this, like, women power,
Well, because they were making fun of it earlier when they're all like, girls get it done, and they're just standing together all like pretty and like powerful. It was so stupid. But they did that a lot, like, and that's what I like about the show, is that, like, fucking with the MCU like that. Yeah, the MCUs can be dumb as fuck. I'm sorry. But then I think I do need to go soon, so we might want to talk about the Johnny Depp thing.
We can, yes, we can do that. I don't think I have a ton to say. Do I even have the link up for this? I don't think I do. What do you know about it? I think I read that
there was...
Yeah, go ahead.
There were rumors, which is why the whole, like, Johnny Depp had said he would not go back to working on Pirates for unless they gave him $300 million and 101 million alpacas. He literally said that. Yeah. So then there was rumors on like Monday that, they were in talks with him. And then, like, I think it was like Wednesday or maybe Tuesday that, like, a representative of Johnny Depp's was like, no, we're not actually in talks. And so there are 5 Pirates movies. All 5 of them have Johnny Depp in them. But they're not good. There's one good.
In the 5th one. I thought he was not.
He was. Oh, okay. He was. Because there's the 3 main ones, the storyline people know. And then there's Stranger Tides, and then there's Dead Men Tell No
Tell No Tales?
Dead Men Tell No Tales. Give me a moment. I will say it.
Johnny Boy, quick draw. Johnny Boy.
Yeah. All 5 of those have Johnny Depp in them. And
I thought he was not. Maybe I should watch the 5th. I mean, I know it's bad, but
I honestly forgot I watched it. That's how boring it was.
I noticed that, like, I forgot that it existed. So when I made the titles for the stream and stuff, I put it like in 5 though. And when I saw you post it in Discord, I was like, oh wait, there already was a 5. Like, I had to ask you. Like, I just act like it never happened. So.
What I find funny is that the fourth one has Penelope Cruz in it, and she was pregnant at the
Mhm.
time, by the way.
Oh,
And then, the fifth
girls get
one
it done.
has what?
I said, "Girls get it done."
Yeah. And then the fifth one has Javier Bardem in it, and they're married.
Oh. Oh,
And,
okay.
and they said that they
Whoops.
really, they both said that they liked Johnny Depp, that Johnny Depp was, like, really, like, there for Penelope Cruz, uh, as she was pregnant and filming
Hmm.
for that movie. So it's like, uh, I thought that was kind of funny that they went from like, we got a Penelope Cruz, now let's hire her husband for the next
Yeah.
movie. It's just a little
It's
silly.
like Melissa McCarthy, and I always forget her husband's name, but, like, he always ends up being like, he's more of a writer, though, but he always ends up being in, like, things that she's into, and but,
Oh
and or
God,
he
I
ends up
really don't
writing
like
most
her
of
career.
I am. Yeah, she's one of those, like, I love her physical comedy, it reminds me of Lucille Ball, so, like, I like her in a lot of things, but I also understand why a lot of people do not, but,
I liked
what
her as Suki on the Gilmore Girls, and then
Yeah,
like
yeah,
from
but
her movie career.
yeah, I'm but, she reminds me, I guess, like, in Will Ferrell and, like, the like, you do the same thing, like, this is your character that you play and all of it, so, like, if I like this, then I can accept the other films that you're in, but that is what you are. Wicked Psyched says, "I have never seen a Pirates of the Caribbean movie." That is ridiculous. Get out of here
At
now.
least watch the
Oh,
first
first
one.
one
I
I
would.
actually I know that this I mean, I know, like, everyone I do love the first one, but the second one, while it had flaws and I hated the ending, I just thought Jack's character he just allowed himself to be, like, way more flamboyant and weird in it than what Johnny Depp did, and, I just really loved his character more, and like, the first one was a great movie, but the second one just had Jack was a really funny character more so in the second one, I think.
And interestingly enough, Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl is the start of the end credits scene.
Oh.
That's the first time that Disney did that, and
Ah.
it was the monkey taking a coin.
Okay, I didn't
That's
know that. Oh.
that's yeah, and so like a lot of people, I didn't wait until after the credits because that was not a thing when that movie came out.
Oh, I don't remember
And
if I saw
then
it in theaters, but
so when I saw the second movie and the
and they
monkey was still undead, I was like, "What the fuck? Like, why? Like, it doesn't make any sense."
I didn't it took my brain a moment. I was like, "What is an end credits?" But then it was like, "Oh, like, afterward," but I was just like, "What's happening in the" but, yeah, regardless of whether there's any like, I always sit and watch through the end credits of everything. W one well, my excuse will be that as I have a film student back in the day. So then just like, okay, like a film degree, like I appreciate like all the people that put like worked in here, like that, like they deserve to have their name seen. So that's part of it. But the bigger thing is just my OCD is that like I need to watch this from beginning to end. And
I do not appreciate the fact that they have added all these people to the credits that have nothing to do with mise en scene. The legal department, the catering team, the marketing department,
ah,
and
I'm okay
I'm
with
like,
it.
I'm
I
not. It's
accept it.
20 more people.
I know
What's
that it's
this
just like, oh, it makes
relevant?
the credits so long, but, like but they are appreciated because like, I was, what was it? Oh, it was the Nickelodeon show Super Ninjas. I was an intern on the 2nd season of that because they were in Pittsburgh, and, but then, like, you needed like, when you had lunchtime, someone is setting us up, like, everyone, like, is helping to, like, even the cast and crew, and so I just I still respect that everyone has their job, and I'm okay with showing that they're in there. But I understand because even when I was watching Lightyear, I was like, these credits are just never ending, and I don't. It, it was
I
on
just
and on.
exited. I was like, nope, done.
But they did have post-credit scenes, so like there were 2 of them, and so then
I
I
did
was
not
just
watch
like,
them.
yeah. Well,
I was like, I don't care.
but I always feel like the theater that we go to, and it's always the same guy that's working there too, but he's always coming in and sweeping, and we're always the last ones. And I just feel like pressured, like, oh, should I like at least get out of the back row once he makes it? Like I wait until he gets up to our row, and then like, okay, we'll walk down. So then we'll just stand there and wait till the end. But he'll say either like there is nothing after the credits, and they're like, oh no, it's fine, we're just watching anyway, or there is. So and I didn't. He said like when we saw the first post credits. Then we were about to leave, and then he was like, "There's another one. There's a third thing." But
that's hilarious.
But I just feel like I'm sure we're bothering you, but I'm like, I just have to stay here. I need to see the end of this.
I
I
will go
paid
look
for
it
this
up on
movie.
YouTube. If I guarantee you someone has cammed it and put it on YouTube, and I will watch it there. I definitely should.
I'm not. It's not the same though. I need to watch. Like I need to see the whole thing. Like whatever's playing, I need to finish it, and I don't care enough to look it up. Like I don't care enough about the scene. I just need to complete it. It's the completionist thing. So I need to start everything from the beginning and then watch the current thing. And yeah, but okay. Well, if you have 37 more seconds, I just wanted to watch that video that I posted with the flying thing. Let's see if this will play.
Cruzão! Woo!
At first I was like, is this real? That bird doesn't look real.
Aí, garoto! Sabe muito, hein? Sabe muito, hein?
I love how it's like, I will take a rest wherever I can get it.
Even it just looks like it's wearing a mask.
Yeah, that's what vultures look like.
Yeah, so when I commented on Twitter, so I saw like on the comments below, someone was just like, "Oh, it's actually his pet," and then he commented again, like, "But it's still a win, though." And I responded, I was like, "It being his pet makes it even cooler." Like,
yeah,
he just has this pet vulture, and I think so. I asked what bird it was, and it was like an arubu or something. So it's a black, what is it? A black something vulture. Arubu black vulture. But yeah, I just thought that was such a cool black. I think it was like black Brazilian or something vulture. But to be flying out there and then it just lands to say, like, oh, I get to rest. Like you said, she like that. Like I don't ever get to just like hang out up here though. I'm always having to work. But man, I just want to be that guy. Like, what is that? Because when I first saw it, I didn't know. I'm like, is this a wild bird? Is this his pet though? Because I'm like, a wild that just like lands there. Like, oh, that's fun, that's neat. But then a pet, like, is this guy a superhero? Is this your sidekick? Like, how you fly around saving the day? Like, again, it looked like the bird was wearing like a mask, like, just because its face. Nobody was looked like, oh, you got a secret bird identity.
I want to know what he's saying. I don't speak
Spanish. I know.
So I don't know what he's saying to it.
I can only imagine that he's telling him that like we're going to save someone in a well, or the supervillains are attacking, and rest up here because we're not going to have a break later.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to show that to people because everyone needs to see. And G-Man says, do you think his pet vulture would save him if his engine went out? Doubt it. Do you think he had an engine on there? I just assume he was like paragliding or something.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was just wind powered.
yeah, hand gliding. Yeah, whatever it is that you just jump off and then like soaring down. I've always wanted to go paragliding / hang gliding, more paragliding because that seems less scary.
I know. I'm afraid of heights. I'm not getting anywhere.
I'm terrified of heights, but I would never go skydiving because that's just falling. But like at least the other thing, like you can compare sailing and paragliding, like those feel a little bit more like flying. Because the superpower I would want is to fly, and maybe it's because I have such a fear of heights. If I could fly, I won't have to be afraid anymore. Probably still will be, but I always want to fly, but I'm scared. I love roller coasters. I will sit in the front of like roller coasters and I'll ride like the loop-de-loops, even ones that I've like blacked out on briefly from the loops. But Ferris wheels, I've cried on Ferris wheels where they just go up so slow and then you're up there and I'm like, and I won't cry.
I don't mind roller coasters all that much,
love them.
except for the fact that like my inner ears don't appreciate them quite as much. But like those ones where they like rubber band you up and down, I'm not into those. I was in something called the Ring of Fire once when I was really young. It was one of those.
I was in one too at a
Yeah.
carnival thing.
And it's got a cage and everything, but it had windows too and no seat belts.
It was just a circle.
And it's just a circle, yeah, and it goes back and forth, and it goes upside down, and yeah, and so I was not terrified, but my sister, who was sitting next to me, and the old couple who was sitting behind us were terrified because I was too small to be on that ride, and I was going to fall out the window.
Yeah,
everyone was holding me down.
That's so scary.
Meanwhile, I look out the window, and my mom is doing like this motion. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And what it is that she was practicing to do like one of those hammer things where you ring the bell. Yeah. I should not have been on that ride.
I wonder if it was the same ride. I don't remember this. I just remember I had to like push up on because it would like pause it upside down or something too. At least mine.
Yeah, it did. It would pause up there.
Like I was falling out of it. Like I had to push on the ceiling because I felt like I'm gonna fall down here. But I did not enjoy that ride. But
I never got on a Ring of Fire again ever. Like
yeah, I don't think I've seen another one since then. But yeah, I don't know. But I want to go back to an amusement park at some point too. I was just talking to someone else on a stream about because we're like both 2 hours away from like Cedar Point in Ohio. So like, yeah, we need to meet up there.
I've always wanted to go back to the state fair, but it's so, I don't know, like it's expensive, and what I really want is like the fun that I had when I was a kid, and I don't think I'm gonna get it because I think I enjoy different things now. No. So I'm like, going back to the state fair is actually not going to be fun for me, is my thought process. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't really want to do this.
My worry about going and doing things still is just that, like, I don't know, even though it's outdoors and stuff, I don't know what what rules there might be and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. So I'm waiting to do much of any traveling and things. I just know like around here, a lot of my local areas, like it doesn't exist. We don't have to do any, like there's no issues at all outside of like hospitals and vets that I've had to be at both recently. But outside of that, it's just like, no, like you don't do masks. No one brings it up. No one cares.
Yeah, I don't think the fair or the Ren Fair here cares anymore.
Yeah.
You really, like, it only seems like it's doctors' offices now, and it's and like only some doctors' offices. I think it's really stupid when I go to an allergist and they tell me to wear a mask as an asthmatic when I literally had an asthma attack that fucking day. Like,
I just want to try to make it happen again so we can see exactly what went wrong.
And then also, I almost passed out from the needle pricks because I do have a blood injury injection phobia. Like, it's a literal phobia. My blood pressure tanks and I may pass out. So I turn bright fucking red and I'm sweating. And then they're like, put on a mask. And I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah. Oh no, it's mostly a sick. I don't like breathing in warm air. So like I always hated wearing the mask because then it would make me I'd get kind of like sort of panic attack that like I'd feel like on the verge of like hyperventilating. So then I'd always have to like sneak in a breath because it just like makes me feel even worse that I can't breathe. The warm air freaks me out. And so I've always hated that. As far as like, I don't mind shots. I don't mind like needles going in me. I hate my blood pressure being taken. So it's always like hot. I was surprised when I went to the doctor's office the other day and my blood pressure was fine because I was like, it stresses me out. So it makes it go higher sometimes most of the time because I hate being squeezed. So then it squeezes and it's so tight and it just works me up.
They have to be like, they'll take my blood pressure more than once because of the fact that like my blood pressure will already start getting bad if I know I'm going to get pricked with some kind of needle.
Yeah, so then you're just
already going to get bad. Like because like psychologically, like up here, like consciously, I'm not terrified. I'm not worried. I know rationally that everything's gonna be fucking fine. But for some reason, there's something going on where I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking pass out, and I have passed out before, and it makes me really like, and it makes me anxious because I know that I might pass out
because you're building it up. Yeah, Well, I always have to when I have the blood pressure tank, I, like, have to think and try to focus. I think of, like, calming, like, "Oh, I'm, like, by a creek or lake or creek, like, under a tree and just where it's breezy and cool." So, like, I have to try and, like, think, like, happy, relaxing thoughts to try and, like, keep it down, but the only time I've passed out was in college during a psychology class when the instructor was talking about female genital mutilation, and I didn't realize how uncomfortable I was feeling about like, until I was just like, "Oh, I'm feeling, like, lightheaded here," and then I woke up on the floor and everyone was around me, and then I didn't know what was going on, and then I passed out again, and then later the doctor, when the ambulance took me, was just like, "It's hard to pass out while lying down, but, like, that's how it was my first time, and I was really good at it, and then I passed out a second time
Very
lying down."
successful. You know, like, I passed out as a kid. That was the first time I watched my blood get drawn into a tube and it passed out. And then from then on, I like laid down every time. And then like I was getting a shot at a doctor's office, and I got allergy shots too. But I was getting a real shot, like not a skin shot, like an allergy shot. And I like got up, I left the room, I went to the counter, my friend walked up to the counter, and then I was like, and like it hit me suddenly, and I was trying to grip the counter, and I was trying to say to my friend, "I don't feel so good," but I didn't even make any sound. It didn't get past the brain, and then I passed out at the counter, the check-in check-out counter, and my friend caught me.
And then he's like, "Can we check in again?"
Yeah. Well, and then after that, every time I got a shot, I was like, "Okay, I passed out before, so I'm gonna lay down for like 10 minutes here, okay?"
I thought they
And they're
usually
like,
say
"Oh,"
that too, yeah.
like, but it'd been years, and I hadn't had an issue, so I didn't think it was gonna happen again. But now, like, I'm much more careful.
Yeah,
after
like,
that
let me just
incident.
rest, hang out for a bit.
I don't want to hit my head on the
Watch
ground,
YouTube.
like.
That's terrifying. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, G-Man says he knows I don't know who's talking to me or you, our only weakness. I think it's a squeezing. I think that's my weakness is my only? No, not at all. I don't like being poked either. Poked and squeezed. My doctor once suggested that maybe I had fibromyalgia, and I thought and I was surprised because I thought that was a fake thing. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
But I'm like pretty much pain or tickle is my forms of feeling.
Sorry,
So
someone's hungry because it is
yeah. We can't. It is for my cats too, and I need to go bring in the birds and stuff. It's getting dark, so we can wrap it up. I got Bill Cosby. I don't know which one of us did. We both got Bill Cosby at the same time. But all right. Well, we can wrap up. Thank you, Alex, and thank you everyone in chat. Thank you for the super chats too earlier. We really appreciate it. And again, I can work on pi. So it gives me incentive to work on more digits of pi. I can learn them in different languages too. To say in like I probably could. I just have to stop and think longer for like Spanish and French because I know how to count in the first 10 numbers, but wait, I don't know how to say zero in a lot.
She is up for being rehomed, by the way, guys. I know you guys keep saying how cute she is. It's been years, and I've been.
She's the one that you're trying. I thought it was the other one.
No, the other one can't stand other cats and is hyper attached to me. Missy loves everyone. Except for my cat.
So she's not going to do well with other cats, or
probably not. She's a bit of a bully.
Okay. Well, my cats are gigantic, so my female cat is a bitch too, and my boy cat, he's really submissive. So like it works for them, but they're also like big. Like he's tall, so he's like 14 pounds. I think she's probably like 11 pounds, but so they could probably defend themselves. So if you're ever over here,
bring Missy.
Yeah,
all the way across the country. Someone take her, please.
Carter wants to do that too because he says he has an extra cat that he needs to get rid of. So he was asking if you could mail it to me, and recommended against that. Have a good night, Karsar, St. Joseph. You want me to get married soon and bear like 23 children? Why? I do not want that. Also, speaking of fears, pregnancy terrifies me. So I like romanticize it because I think, oh, it'd be so sweet, like, having someone there and like just like a family thing. But then the physical side of it, I'm like, that sounds terrible. And then birthing something coming out of your hoo-ha with a lot of it's scary. So
I no longer have to worry about that.
Yeah. Lucky you. Brag, Alex. I already said you were perfect earlier, so. Okay, well, thank you guys again, and thank you, Alex, as always. It's been a pleasure. Next week we've got stuff happening. So I don't know when we're gonna air the Rebel Civics on Independence Day on Monday. I'm not sure what time that's going to be, so it'll be a surprise. Just throw it out at you. But and then we'll see you guys next week. Have a great Independence Day. Or I love saying 4th of July, even though I know that's not the holiday. And my grandfather was like, no, say Independence Day. But because I like the number 4 a lot. So I always want to say 4th of July, and then I feel guilty. So happy 4th of July, Independence Day. And we will see you guys next time. End credits.
Thanks for sticking around until the end. If you're new to Unsafe Space, check out our deep content library that includes discussions with everyone from James Lindsay to Brett Weinstein. And please consider helping to fund our work by visiting unsafespace.com/donate. You can find us on a variety of social media platforms, and you can find a community of like-minded individuals on our Unsafe Space Discord server, which is open to financial supporters at any level. We hope to see you there.
Warning. This is an unsafe space. Dangerous ideas have been detected. The content of this production does not meet WHO health and safety standards. Please report to a United Nations Sanitization Center immediately. Association with the following individuals is strictly prohibited. Experts who benefit from printing money agree that printing money does not cause price inflation. Trust me, just 2 more weeks to slow the spread of monkeypox. If you think about it, no one should be allowed to express opinions. But don't. Think about it, I mean. That's not your job. Thinking has been scientifically proven to be less efficient than compliance. Science, scientific, and scientifically are registered trademarks of the World Economic Forum. Unauthorized use is prohibited. Computer voice courtesy. Never mind, that last line is fake news. Please disregard it and return to your safe space immediately. There will be cake.